Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the canyon. Welcome back to a piping hot, steaming fresh installment of Wheelin Wednesday. It's Wheelin Wednesday. Is it early? Yeah. Look at those beams of sunlight. Look at that. The sun's barely up, everybody. It's feeling positively autumnal today. The wheels, as one could tell by use of their vision, eyes. Choice today was Lil Fella over here at Sleeping Giant. It's fortuitous. It's appropriate. Because I got what would I consider to be like the strangest email a couple days ago, where out of the blue, someone said, "Do you still have that MST CMX? Do you want to sell it?" We're not into that kind of thing here. Lil Fella is Lil Fella. He is not a macaudity.
I'm not a macaudity.
So, like, there will be instances where rigs leave the canyon. Tumbly. Whether it be because they were sent here to be built, or in some more rare instances, they get replaced or disassembled. It does not happen often. But Lil Fella is that thing. He is that non-compliant, non-quantifiable. Because we need that guy with the stumpy wheelbase that is, I mean, not an RTR as he was sold. Not really even a rock crawler, but he gets it done. He gets it done. What a little fella. What a little fella. The addition of the addition of the inexplicably tiny HB Rovers, really a turning point here. Look at him coming. Look at him coming right at you with his big googly eyes, which I don't know why, but in this lighting, it looks like the headlights are on. Look at little fella. Oh, wait, no, we got to come around. We got to come around. We didn't exploit that moment. He still has a typical MST/charisma turning circle, which is to say not tremendously tight. Come on, get that over. Ah! He's back. You want to talk about ground clearance? Let's talk about no ground clearance. But man, is he good to look at? It's not just me, right? He is good to look at. I want to get back in that spot. Oh, there's some like blue undertones there. Oh, there we go. Oh yeah. It was worth it. I don't even know what I have to say today. I am physically destroyed. I think is the applicable word. Oh, okay, we can do this. Little Flash Hobby AM32 in there. Little Flash Hobby, it's a 3530, and it's a little one. Like, he's holding. Stay up there. Stay up there, little man. Don't get that tire too low on the polyethylene. There's no grip down there. Oh, yeah. Still doesn't have the drag brake. Like, oh, good hold. It will roll a little. Honestly, I think it's cool enough this morning that motor actually has to warm up a little, because when I was trying to reset from like shot 1 to shot 2, he was just rolling away. I had to keep my finger on the trigger to keep him from rolling. Got that nice low though. I think this is the 1400 kV in here. Woo, well man. And his wide out is is fine. He's a guy whose gearing is pretty well right. This is a rig that is fitted with an outrunner and doesn't really drive like it's outrunnered. Has a very brushed feel to it, which is, I think, in a lot of folks' estimation, I think is good. Now, he should be narrow enough. We've had a handful of people manage to clear this now. But I think you can usually see a little better. I couldn't for the life of me see where his high side tires were, and I think he was up on the pole. Oh, hey, no. Get your mind's out of the gutter. Yep. He's a tall boy, relative to his width, for sure. He's definitely taller than he is wide. And even with his CG is not bad. Well, okay. His CG is not awful, but it's not great. Okay, what if we come in a little higher? I get to the certain spot here. I'm gonna. we tried. As I mentioned earlier, you got to drive him a little different. There's no ground clearance. I still contend that I can't drive Class 1 because I never seem to have that instinct of where to put the bits and pieces. I'm just hoping for clearance. And as I know I have mentioned in the past, many of the obstacles here, this one included, were designed when the fleet was pretty much exclusively portaled rigs. So you take the ground clearances required by Class 2 portals, and you put straight axle 393s out there, combined with a general inability to drive it, and then you sauce the syrup on this delicious Wednesday breakfast is I'm sitting. Okay, let's just do a pull. Let's do a pull. I'm sitting over here, and he's over there. So, ordinarily, you'd have something that someone could equate to a better look at this. So yeah, I'm 20 feet away, and looking at him directly from the side. This is where, oh no. Okay, I don't know. We'll take some over and unders. I'm not gonna walk over there. It's too far. Which way are we going to fall? I know you would think pit, right? Between him and the rusty Tonka backhoe is the pit. I think we're gonna roll just out of frame, right out of frame. We might ping off one of the supports of the bridge there. Yeah, pretty much like that. I know how to fail. I can fail with the best of them. So, in speaking of tangentially related failure, we don't like the fella, in spite of his shortcomings. The we being the royal us. We like the fella because of his shortcomings. They can't all be the same, man. Nobody watches Wheelin Wednesday. That's what's on the T-shirt. If there was a mythical T-shirt, that's what would be on the back of the T-shirt. Nobody watches Wheelin Wednesday. And or a result is a result. I don't know. There's a lot of things that I say over and over again because I am at the age where my brain can't remember the things that it has said recently. I'm sure that I've told my kids the same stories 100 times. And if you stay around here long enough, I'll tell you the same stories 100 times. So I've definitely told this story before. I do recall it, but I don't recall when. And it was on a Wednesday. Nobody saw it. And what that boils down to is a buddy of mine is an auto detailer, and he was in a house detailing some expensive car, like a Porsche 911 GT3 or something. And I was heavy into the bike riding at the time. So there was a bunch of bikes in this garage. And my buddy texts me some pictures of these bikes in this guy's garage. And they're all there. For those of you who know road bicycles, there's like a Cannondale Black in there. And there's like the Trek Domain, like whatever the highest, like 9-point whatever, right? The like top of the line. So we're talking, and I know this is crazy to most people. What do the British call pedal bikes? Push bikes? So for those who don't just call them bicycles, it might be, and who have no knowledge of bicycles, it's much that you'll be able to relate. You'll be able to relate. We're talking $20,000 bicycles, US. Like multiple bikes over $20,000. And I'm not even talking about like the new specialized e-bikes and stuff that are like over $20,000. We're talking $20,000 limited edition bikes that, you know, sticker on some of them was like $14, $15, but then there's $5,000 worth of carbon wheels, so they're over $20,000 each. And there's the whole row of them parked in the garage, and I swear I'm making a point. There's no differences. Like, they're all super high-end road bikes. And I'm sure that to that person, they're all different enough, or that they've I don't want to say constructed a narrative, but they've constructed a narrative, you know, the purchase justification, where, what did I read? A person is more likely to watch a video about something they've already bought than they are to watch a video of something that they want to buy, because if they want to buy it and they watch a video and the video speaks negatively of it, then they're like, oh, well, that doesn't fit into my worldview. So if you have a garage full of $20,000 road bikes that, from my perspective, at least from a spec sheet, are all the same thing, then if you tell the person that, they're automatically discarding everything you say. And I see a lot of the same thing with rock crawlers. I see people with, and I can say this, I have 4 Phoenixes, basically. But to me, they're all very different, because really no two of them are alike. I make an effort, and at some point I'm going to run out, I assume. I make an effort for each build to have some sort of individuality. And that is where Lil Fella fits in to the Canyon fleet. Like, who is close? The only things he shares in absolute common with others is, is he's, so far as I know, been discontinued. You can't get these little CMXs anymore. Just a shame. All the parts seem to be pretty interchangeable from one thing to another. And as I try to tell people who are looking to get into this and don't have any investment in this at all, do what the Canyon do. Build to a body. If you love that body, buy that body. And then build a rig under it that fulfills the needs that you might know about having or think that you know that you have. I build rock crawlers that can trail a bit, but most, 25% underdrive is not something conducive to trailing. Fitting vehicles with 0 pieces of water-resistant electronics is not conducive to a lot of things. I build rock crawlers to rock crawl, and I started off with the notion of don't fight the system. Don't try to make something into something that it isn't. And then I got to a very freeing point where you realize there's no such thing. Like, make it whatever you want. If you want to make a TRX4 that goes 50 miles an hour, do it. Do it. Your dreams are only limited by the depth of your wallet. Because making a TRX4 go 50 miles an hour won't be that expensive to do it once, but if you want to do it more than once, it's going to get expensive. I went through a speed run phase. I think virtually everyone in RC will go through if not a speed run phase, some reasonable approximation of a speed run phase in which you attempt to do something that is limited only by the depth of your wallet. And at a certain point, I think most people arrive at a thing where they go, you know what I should buy? Rock crawler. Because one battery pack should not potentially cost you $100. But if you want to go really fast, it will. And I spend, let's go into it a little. Everybody loves to talk about money. Significantly less on toy cars than I did on bicycles. And I own 3 bicycles. And it wasn't an issue of having incredibly expensive bicycles. I'm not ashamed of what things cost. Being ashamed of what something costs implies that you're talking to someone either that knows more than you about your selected diversion or knows nothing about it at all. I have a Cervelo. I've probably called it an R5 in the past, but it is indeed an R3. It's a 2017 Cervelo R3. Sticker price on that bike's about $3,500. 6 years ago, sticker price wasn't on that. I've changed the wheels. I've changed, this and that. I'm not uncomfortable calling it a $4,000 bicycle. And when you tell that to someone whose idea of a bicycle is something that costs $149 at your local big box store, when you tell them that you have a bicycle that costs $3,500, and for frame of reference, my first vehicle, my first car that I drove getting out of high school was $2,700. So I own a bicycle that costs more than my first car. And I don't have a problem with that. That bicycle has 22,000 miles on it. And it's like I say, it's one of 3. The bike that it's parked next to has more than that. It has like 25 or 26,000 miles on it. Has a lot. They have a lot. I rode 60,000 miles. So if you're starting to break things down into whatever per dollar, don't do that. Don't do that. Lil Fella does not have a lot of money put into him. The tires were sent to me by the wonderful people of the Canyon. He's inherited bits and bobs. He has, settle it. He has very little done to him because he's wonderfully limited. It is part of his charm. There's not as much I can do to this. So he looks like he does. I mean, he took so much time to get him even kind of sort of right. But I don't have a problem at a $4,000 bicycle, and I don't have a problem with the toy cars cost. But I have spent significantly less on the toy cars, as I was beginning to say, because, well, I think because I don't have 3 of them, so I'm not wearing them out as much. Bicycles are cars powered by meat, and the pieces that they are made out of, because your car weighs nowadays, what's a typical car? It's got to be close to 2 tons, right? Like even a Honda Civic is over 3,000 pounds. My first car weighed like 1,900 pounds. So nowadays a car weighs 4,000 pounds. A 4,000 pound car is not going to wear a lot of stuff out. Bicycles wear everything out. So riding those 3 bikes and riding all of those miles every year, a bicycle chain can cost you $50, $60 and last 6,000 to 7,000 miles, which for some people will be 5 years of cycling. For me, it was 6 months of cycling. So I was wearing out, and then a tire lasts half that. And then the cables wear out and everything wears out. And it was, I would say, $3,000 to $4,000 a year just in maintenance parts. I don't mean in the special clothes you got to wear that all wear out or you wreck your way out of them. I don't want to jinx myself because I'm still moving stuff around containers. I'm still doing concrete. I'm still building obstacles. The worst that has happened to me while rock crawling and building what you see the rock crawlers driving on is I mushed one of my big toes with a rock. I've given myself a little twingy knees or tweaked a shoulder. I have injuries from cycling that I will probably never recover from. I get to carry them for the rest of my days, and my knee just popped when I straightened my leg. That's part of it. I have a hyperextended wrist that's gonna. Okay, here's a little noise. Okay, can you hear this? That's my left wrist. I hyperextended that wrist. Basically, imagine, if you will, take the, what's the first knuckle? The big knuckle. Take the big knuckle on your middle finger and try to touch it to the back of your forearm. I did that. I did that on a bicycle. So now I get the popping of the fluid in the wrist. I get to carry that forever. So I'm not saying that rock crawling is better than cycling. Cycling was probably extending my life in equal measure to how much it was taking off of it. But it is there. See, there's that drag brake. It is a bit more relaxing. And I hope that your drop by to the canyon on a Wednesday where I just ramble, I hope it was at least in some part relaxing. Lil Fella, he loved getting out. He's been up on the rack for a while. I didn't even bother cleaning the dust off of his roof. We're coming out here to run. It's not a fully charged battery pack. I wish there were more tire options in 155s, though he's never given up those rovers. He's a rock crawler. Like, I can drive up rocks and stuff. And we remember back to when he was a baby out of the box. This right here, doing that, no, not a chance. Not a glimmer of a hope of a chance. And now he can go places. He can do things. Hey! Oh, they are the self-writing kings, by the way. You know how? Oh, we'll throw in some references to some other stuff. Remember when we did the dumb and we had a tire that had a bump score of 11 out of 10? The 393 Rover on a tiny rig that weighs like 5.5 pounds. Its self-right is an 11 out of 10. I steer towards the ground, pull the throttle, and he's on his wheels in like a second. No wasted motion. Like, his mirror barely touches the ground. He just right onto his wheels. So I hope that at any time in the oncoming week, before we part now and we meet again, I hope that should you fall down, you get right back up again. I, as usual, invite you one and all to do your very best in between now and when we meet again. So have a good one, everybody. I thank you so much for joining us here in the canyon. I thank the members for being members. I thank the subscribers for being subscribers, and the commenters for being commenters. If you would like to comment, please do so below. If you have not liked this video, why not? The algorithm seems to like it. Subscriptions, likes, and comments are absolutely free. Channel subscriptions cost a mere pittance because Google takes half. Ain't that the way the world works? We'll see you again in the next one. Lil Fella and I, thank you for joining. Lil Fella is not for sale. Lil Fella is like a member of the family. And we all hope to see you again real soon. Farewell from the canyon. We will see you very, very select few very soon.